Hey there folks, it's Jimmy Stewart here, hoping this is finding you all doing well. Today's video, which you may have guessed from the opening, is on the brand new, long anticipated and long waited for Firebird Firefly acoustic guitars. Yes, Firebird has finally been working on it for a couple years and finally came out with an acoustic line of guitars to supplement their electric line that everybody loves and enjoys and have been buying for a couple of years now. The new Firefly acoustics are now available on guitarsgarden.com, and I'll leave a link, of course, for you to check out. But they just released a couple of weeks ago, and before we get into the one that I have here, I want to thank George and Firebird Music for supplying me this guitar for the review. And this is the first time here on the channel that I've been endorsed by Firefly and Firebird Music to show you one of their guitars. So on this particular model that I got, I just received it yesterday. I let it acclimate last night. And before we get into all the value and all the different things and showing you the guitar, let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. There's a lot of controversy on the interwebs right now about the packaging of the acoustic guitars. Now, I'll be the first to agree that they could be packaged a lot better. And George already knows that, Firebird knows that, and they will learn from their mistake here, because there was a number of guitars, from what I understand, that came in broken, came in with some bad dings and what have you, because the packaging is not great. But mine arrived all the way from California to the East Coast with no issue. But let me roll some of that B-roll for you, and you can check out just how they actually come packaged. Again, they know about this, folks, and there's a lot more guitars being received with no issues than there are with the guitars being received with issues. But just to let you know, they are working on it, and they will get it straightened out for the following batches to come. And you can see that the packaging is minimal at best. It's a single corrugated box with a neck holder and a sort of a styrofoam type bag that it's wrapped up in. So again, there's talk of injury of guitars coming in. I've seen some pictures. I know people have been showing them and bad mouthing the guitars and bad mouthing Firebird and Firefly, and you know, that's understandable, but just remember that there's a lot more of these guitars arriving fine than there are arriving broken. But remember that Firebird is working on it, and they'll get it all straightened out. So if you happen to receive a bad guitar, contact customer service at Firebird, and they'll be taking care of you, okay? In this particular video, though, we're going to take a look at this model. This is the Dreadnought model. This is the DA02-F1 acoustic guitar. Now, this is their larger Dreadnought. They also came out with a cutaway version, which is the GA, I believe it is. Yeah, the GA01. And on the cutaway version, it has a beveled out armrest here. Very, very nice looking guitars. Now, they have different models available, like this one, along with an acoustic electric version of it as well, with a Fishman system built into it. This is just the acoustic version of it. This is the DA02-F1, and there's a DA02-F1 and a DA02-S1. Now the S1 has a spalted maple back piece. This has the flamed maple back piece, and I'll get to that in a minute. But the guitar itself is absolutely gorgeous. I brought out some of my acoustics because I wanted to show you, and I'm not comparing these, folks, but I wanted to show you size and depth and exactly how this guitar stacks up really to some of the higher end guitars. Now this is a Martin HD35. Again, I'm not comparing these two, but the iconic thing, or the ironic, is that they are exactly the same size. Now, as a Dreadnought goes, these are on the bout 11 inches. Then you got your centerpiece here, and this is still at 11 inches when it goes in. Then along the bottom, they are 15 and a half, and I'll show you that real quick. 15.5 inches. If you look at the Martin HD, along the bottom, 15.5 inches, 11 inches, 11 inches. It's interesting that these are exactly the same size. And from the binding on the back to the binding top on the front, you've got 4.5 inches. Binding on the back to the binding on the front, 4.5 inches. The headstocks are even similar. You've got a little bit of a rounded edge to the Firefly. The Martin is pretty much straight across. But I'm surprised that they're actually, to me, people are saying, well, what are these modeled after? And everybody's talking about Alvarez and, Orangewood and all those kinds of guitars. And, again, this is a budget acoustic, but budget acoustic with a lot of features. I think it's modeled after a HD version of the Martin, to be honest with you. And the reason I'm talking about that is, let me show you the backs. Now the HD35 Martin is designed with a 3-piece back. And again, folks, I'm not trying to compare this to a Martin, but I'm just showing you how the back of this is designed. Again, that's exclusive to the HD35 Martin. Now look at the back of this. This is what the designation of the F1 acoustic guitar for the DA02 is. It's got a flamed maple strip down here, whereas the DA02-S1 is the same guitar with a it's a quilted maple strip here. So I think that's interesting. They did such a nice job on this. And again, I'll show you, this is a, again, it's a sub 200, well, it's right at the $200 mark. By the time it's $199.91, that Walmart and gas station pricing, that 0.9 to keep it under. But you get that $200, and then I think it's around $27 to ship. So you're looking around $227 for the straight acoustic version. But this has a solid spruce top. It has, this particular model has got the rosewood back and sides. And I believe they are laminate. But look at the work on this. It's got a rosewood bridge, rosewood fretboard, a rosewood cap on the top of the headstock, bound on both sides. The fingerboard is completely bound. And you've got an abalone purfling around your binding. That's just really, really well done, and around your sound hole. Now on acoustic guitars, folks, the most important part of this guitar, besides the build itself, when you're talking woods, is the soundboard, or the top of the guitar. This is where 80% of the sound of an acoustic guitar is going to come from. Your sides and back and that type of thing is your other 20-25%. But around 80% of your sound is coming from here, from the actual soundboard, they call it here on an acoustic guitar. And on this, it is a solid spruce. It's a book-back spruce, and the seam is nearly invisible on this guitar, so it's very, very well done. If you look inside the guitar, and I did take some shots of the inside, I got a scope. It's not the greatest resolution, but I did shoot some in here, and I shot some of the HD35 as well to try to compare them. The scalloping and the bracing in this looks very, very good. The inside of this guitar is extremely clean. I love what they did on this back piece. It is very, very nice. Even your binding on the cap of the joint here at the neck. This has got a, it's almost like a blackout dark silver on the tuning keys and on the strap buttons. The guitar is quite light, and that's again part of the betterment of having a solid spruce top instead of a laminate top. And it weighs, as you can see here, right about 4.5 pounds. Nice inlay on the headstock as well. The Firefly and the inlay that they've got going on here looks really, really good. Again, it is an inlay, it's not a paint on. And you've got your small dot inlays on the rosewood neck as well. The guitar is just absolutely beautiful. It really, really looks good. Now, let's talk about a couple of things. Did it come in absolutely perfect? No, it didn't. There's a couple of small spots, and right up here by the nut, it has got a small finish crack right there, and it had a couple of smaller finish cracks as well on this side of the inlay, the actual binding. There's a couple of small spots there, but other than that, it is pretty good. No other spots on there on the finish. Just really, really well done. My hat off and a big thumbs up to Firebird Music. These are very, very nice. Again, you correct the issues with the shipping problems that some people have had, and you've got a true winner. And I think you've got a winner anyway, but we obviously need to correct that. Now, as far as action and things goes, this particular guitar needs to come down. It's still a bit high. I let it acclimate for the evening to see if that helped at all, but it is still high, and the action on this, for me, I'd like to get it down. It is currently sitting at up on the 12. It is about 2.5, and on the E side it's about 2.75 on the top. So it is a little tough playing, especially as you come up here. But I think with a set, again, on an acoustic guitar, setting these up is a little bit different, of course, than an electric guitar. But I'm going to restring it, obviously, clean up the dry fretboard. Again, every guitar I've ever had come in, the fretboard is dry. It's been sitting in the container and running around the countryside. But I'm going to probably just give it a bit of a tweak. I don't know if there is a spacer underneath this saddle or not. If not, we'll probably have to shave the saddle down a little bit, the bridge saddle, to bring this action down. And then we should be good to go. The bone nut on here is cut well. Looks fine. It's all rounded off very, very nicely. The tuners seem to be holding all right. And it sounds awfully good. Let me compare that just for a second, because again, people that have been watching, you folks know that have been watching the channel, know that I do not process any of the sound on my videos. I don't run it through a computer in my DAW and clean it all up. I record off of a camera and a Rode mic right on top of the camera, and that's it. So the sound that you get here is as close to the room sound as I can get it without processing it. So here is a Firebird Firefly Acoustic DA02 compared to a, again, we're not comparing, side-by-side sound to a Martin HD35. I think you're probably hearing the same thing I'm hearing. It sounds very, very good. We'll even try, here, let me give you a little picking style on here and see what we got. Now this was easier to play that up the top of the neck because of the action blower. However, sound-wise, it's going to be tough to beat this, folks, for the price you're paying. It's bright. Try a capo on here. I like putting a capo on a guitar too because that helps you determine nut cut and what we're looking at there. If this goes way out of tune. Ah. Very nice. You know, I think after restringing this and giving the fretboard a good drink and cleaning it up, and then perhaps lowering this saddle a little bit to bring this action down. It might need just a bit of a tweak on the truss rod. Yeah, I think that would help as well, and that would certainly bring this action down and make it much more enjoyable to play. Although it's fine as it is, right? I mean, it's not fine; it's high for me, but it's certainly playable. I just would like the action to be lower, of course. But what a fine-looking instrument, without question. So we'll actually take an up-close look at the Firefly DAO02-F1 here, the Dreadnought version of the new acoustics from Firebird Music. Let's have a look at it. Okay, so here's the up-close and personal on the brand new Firefly acoustic model. This is the DA02-F1. This is their Dreadnought version with a solid spruce top, a rosewood bridge, a rosewood fretboard, a rosewood cap on top of your headstock. And this particular model has the rosewood back and sides with just a very nice abalone purfling around the edges. This is bound on both the front and back, and a really nice abalone rosette there on the sound hole. This is a 25/5 scale acoustic, but it's a 14 fret. In other words, it meets 14 frets at the body. And let me turn this around for you so you can take a look at the gorgeous back on this particular guitar. And the designation here on the F1 as compared to the S1, this has got a flamed maple stripe up the back on that rosewood. Again, I like what they did with the headstock, and I like what they did with the tuners. They're kind of a blacked out chrome. And they seem to be holding fine so far. Just a very nice acoustic from the folks at Firebird Music. Alright folks, so that's going to do it for today. We hope you'd enjoyed the up close and sound check of the Firebird Firefly, the brand new acoustic, the DA02-F1 here in the studio. Again, my thanks to George and Firebird Music for supplying the guitar for the review today. And to all you folks that have subscribed to the channel, thank you so very, very much. We hope you will come back and visit us some more. So until next time, folks, it's Jimmy Stewart saying, so long, take care of yourselves, please stay safe, please stay healthy, and we'll talk to you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye for now.